Let's talk about communication habits that make people listen to you. 3 seconds, that's all really you have to be able to capture someone's attention. Now, we live in an attention deficit world, which is relatively a new challenge for communicators. Now, watch this. We should optimize our cross-functional processes to increase departmental efficiency. Did your mind wander with all that mumbo jumbo? Now we're going to try something different. I discovered why we keep losing our best clients, and the finding was so unexpected. Did you feel the difference? Well, today I'm sharing simple communication habits that instantly make people pay attention to what you say. And that is just so important when getting people's attention is just so hard. Now forget everything you've heard about communication tips. We're going to do something different today. I'll show you 5 powerful habits that transform how people respond to you, and I'll keep each one of them quick, clear, and immediately usable. So let's start with habit number 1, the curiosity opener. Open with curiosity, not information. Most people start conversations by just dumping loads of information. The quarterly numbers show a 15% decrease in your brain's reaction. Immediate shutdown. Now try this. I notice a pattern in our numbers that explains why we keep losing our customers. See how that creates a gap that makes you want to know more? That's a curiosity opener. A quick example. In a meeting last month, instead of starting with, "I have an idea for improving our process," Sarah began with, "What if we could cut down our response time in half with just one small change?" The result? Everyone looked up from their phones and the idea was implemented the very next day. Let's talk about habit number 2, the visual trigger. Use words that create picture and not concepts. Psychologists call this leveraging schemas. Schema is like the layer of memories in our mind about places and products that we have seen. And how do you bring them up to leverage someone's activate their visualization? A bad example would be, we need to enhance customer experience and optimize touch points. Your brain hears blah, 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 the corporate jargon. A good example would be, when customers call us, they're stuck on hold for 9 minutes, staring at their phones, getting more frustrated with every passing second. Feel how much stronger that is. You can actually see it happening. Quick example, Michael's team was ignoring his emails about a technical problem until he rewrote it as, "Imagine clicking send on an important email and watching your screen freeze for 45 seconds every single time." The responses poured in immediately because it created resonance with people. People were reminded of a situation they found themselves in. Think about the last time someone really captured your attention when speaking. Did they paint a picture you could see or just share information? Keep that in mind as we move to habit number 3. Habit number 3, the powerful pause. Master the purposeful pause. A bad example would be rushing through important points without taking a breath. A good example, making your key point, then stopping. 1-2 seconds. Completely. A pause for 2 seconds. A pause isn't empty space. It's where your words start to sink in. It signals importance and gives people time to process. Let me give you a quick example. Lisa was known for great ideas, but nobody remembered her ideas. When she started pausing for just 2 seconds after important points, people began writing down her ideas in the exact same words, same content, completely different impact. Habit number 4, the personal connector. Connect to people, not just topics. A bad example would be, the data indicates significant optimization potential in our workflows. Oh my God, those words. A good example would be, our team is staying late 3 nights a week because of this process. When I talked to Jamie, she said it's affecting her family time and her work-life balance. People care about people. When you make your point about humans instead of concepts, and attention immediately increases. Let me give you a quick example. A safety presentation was being ignored until the presenter said, "I want to share why Rob from the night shift still has all his fingers when 3 other workers don't." The room went completely silent. Let's move to habit number 5. The clear stance. Take a clear position, a clear stance. A bad example. There are multiple considerations and various potential approaches we want to evaluate. Your brain hears, "I'm not sure what I think, so I'll just keep talking." A good example would be, "After reviewing everything, I believe we should do X. Here's why." Even if people disagree, they respect the clarity. It gives them something solid to engage with. A quick example, David's thoughtful emails were going unread until he started with a single bold sentence stating the recommendation. Response rates tripled overnight. And let's see the difference these habits make in a real life situation. Here's a standard work conversation. The quarterly data shows some concerning trends in customer retention that we should analyze further and potentially develop a strategic response to address various contributing factors. And here's the same message with our 5 habits. I discovered why we lost our 3 biggest customers last quarter. When I spoke with them, each one pointed to the exact same frustrating experience. Pause. I believe we need to fix our onboarding process immediately, and I have a specific plan to do it. Which one would make you look up from your phone? Where could you use these habits tomorrow? Think about an upcoming meeting or conversation. Which of these 5 approaches could transform how it goes? These habits work whether you are in a high-stakes presentation or just in a casual conversation. They work in person, on Zoom, on Teams, or in writing, and they don't require you to be someone you're not. They simply amplify what you already have to say. The most powerful thing about these habits is that they force you to think about how other people receive information, not just how you want to deliver it. That shift in the perspective is what transforms ordinary communicators into people who consistently command attention in their room. The difference between being ignored and being heard has little to do with how smart you are and how good your ideas are. It's about how you package those ideas for the human brain. You require a lot more empathy for that. Which of these habits do you think would make the biggest difference for you? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want more practical communication tips, techniques that get real results, hit the subscribe button. Until then, stay storied, and I will see you here very soon.